Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. My name's Liz and this is Let's Get Lizical, where we do everything card making. Today I'm going to be showing you my Nightmare Scene Builder cut files, and we'll be making a card with it, doing lots of layering. These are all my pieces for the card for today. So we have a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch card base. I have some paper from Doodlebug. It's the Monster Madness paper pack. I'm going to probably use this Hello Pumpkin sentiment here. These digital stamps I bought off of Etsy, and I don't know how to pronounce the name, so I'm not going to try. I will just link it down in the description down below. But I printed and colored these out on my computer and my inkjet printer, and then I colored them with my alcohol markers very carefully because these images are super small. I sized them down quite a bit just to fit on this card. And then the cut file comes with a solid background, the moon layer, a hill layer with a bit of a fence on it, and then of course the iconic hill. And then we're going to be using some cardstock strips that I made earlier today for dimension. These areas, like the border on this one's very thin, especially since I also shrunk it down from the traditional full A2 size. I made it so that it was 4 by 5 1/4, so that there's a bit of a border on my card. I know this comes with a border, but I still like that little bit of white border, especially since I have the white on the images, so it just kind of like ties it all together. I might end up coloring a bit around these images to blend into the background a bit, but I still like they're still white in the images themselves. So I just used Mama Elephant's, I don't remember exactly what the die is called, but I'll link it down below, but it cuts different sized strips for you. So this is the 8-inch strips, and I cut and stacked 4 of them together using my 65 black cardstock from Michael's Recollections brand. And then one of them I stacked to be 8. So I took 2 of the 4s and stacked them together, because once we get to this top layer, then you'll need a little bit more support in this area, because we've already have stacked it up 4 and then another 4 here. So just to support this area and maybe a bit down here, I've stacked these thin strips. Again, you don't need to make sure that every single little area is covered. I don't worry about that. So I'll just show you how to assemble this card now. You can do some ink blending if you want. I think today I'll just like leave it as is. I think last time I made this card, I did it for a blog that I had a couple years ago. And I just ink blended a bit of darker gray down here. I just kept this back area a little lighter because of like the moon. You can also add some texture to the moon. Today I think I'm going to keep it fairly simple and just use it as is. Because I think it'll go as a cute like accent to these like cartoony images that are adorable. I love them. It comes with, the pack that I bought comes with Jack, Sally, Oogie, and Zero, but I decided just to use Jack and Zero on this card for today. And I think I'm gonna end up, like I've already colored the edges of all the cardstock black, just so that when it's stacked, you don't see the colors, like it just looks like it's black. I didn't do the very background, but I'll do that now and show you. So I usually take, depending on what I'm doing, I'll use the brush and tip of a marker if I'm doing like sentiments, but if I'm just doing like big flat areas, I'll use the chisel end, because I never use this end for anything else anyway. And it just gives a good flat surface, and you can do this quick. This cardstock's a little bit thicker. This is the Simon Says like fog cardstock. I think I'm not gonna build up the layers on the card in case I need to trim something, but I'll build the layers up on this base. And I think I'm also going to end up coloring the rest of these borders in as well, just a little bit, because once you add the dimension, you're gonna be able to see through the sides a little bit. So I'm just gonna use a sheet of copy paper, get my black marker, and again I'll just use the chisel tip, and I'm just gonna color the edges. You don't have to do it like full And then where the moon is, I'm just gonna go a little bit over the edge because I don't want it to come too far in. You could tape it off and do it this way, but I think that should be enough. And then same with this one. I'll just color in this. This is not necessary either, if you don't mind seeing some of the colors from the side. Like, you're not going to look at the card from the side anyway, but this just makes it a little bit cleaner for me, so I'll just leave it that way. And then I'll just start gluing down. The moon layer I'm going to glue down flat. I'm not going to add any dimension to this layer. And then I'm just going to use my Barely Art glue, making sure you get those edges and corners. Yeah, it looks like I have to trim a little bit here, but that's okay. And then now we're gonna start doing the dimensions. So I'm going to take some of these strips. Again, all these strips are 4 layers of the 65-pound cardstock. So I'm just gonna add a bead of glue here and then go down. And these need to be thin because this frame is, I think I usually start my frames at 3/16 of an inch because I like them to be a bit thinner. That way if you do want to cut them off and layer your cards, you can. But I also shrunk it down from the original size. So again, that would just shrink the layer a little bit more. So you can see, like, this is an 1/8 of an inch strip and there's like barely any room on either side. If you want, you can use foam tape as well. I just didn't want to fiddle with my foam tape and try to get it to cut this thinly. Okay, and then you can see that it adds just enough dimension. Like, it's not crazy dimension. And then we're gonna add our next layer. So same thing, we're gonna glue the strips. Okay, and now that this part is now going to be 8 layers higher, we're going to use these thicker ones, and I'm just going to cut it into a bunch of smaller pieces just to support this spiral area. This is probably not something you're going to want to mass produce because it does take a lot of work to support this. I'm gonna put another piece here too. If you just want to do like the straight up layers as they are, that would be fine. These are easy enough to cut out with your cutting machine, and then just glue them straight down. You might want to add maybe like a piece or two to support this layer because it will also still be a few cardstock layers high, but it still does glue pretty nice flat. This would make a cute shaker card too. Okay, way so you can see that like dimension that you get out of just layering cardstock. And I think this is really cute. Anytime I've made this card, I've always layered it, and I've actually cut out these pieces and even used them on one of my 3D box cut files before. If I can find the image, I'll put it up in the top left corner for you to see. I think I did it last year for a friend of mine for Halloween. I'm just going to go over the bone folder on the edges just to make sure they're down good. And then I'm going to trim off this back area. Okay, so that's our card base, and then we're gonna pop Jack up in here, and then I think we'll put 0 down over here, or over here. And I'm just gonna use foam tape for these guys. And then now I'm just kind of like making sure all my layers are even, because if they're not, when you put them down, like if the top layer is a bit wider than the other ones, then it might stick down onto your card a little funny. So I'm just going to put this right at the front, and then I'll glue the rest of his body down. It looks like 3 layers is pretty good. Of the Big Mama foam tape, I used 2 on Jack's head and 3 on 0, just so that he's going to be even with this top layer. Okay, and then I think I am going to kind of blend their bodies into the background for the outline instead of leaving it white. So I'm just going to take a black . So that just helps them blend into the background a bit more. Now I'm going to take this Hello Pumpkin sentiment. I'm just going to cut it out with my scissors. And I think that's like a nice way to bring the orange maybe to the top or somewhere here. Down at the bottom here. That's cute. So I'll add a tiny bit of foam tape to the bottom. Okay, and I think just to add a tiny bit of sparkle, I am going to use my Jelly Roll Clear Stardust pen. And I'm just going to put a few like little atmosphere dots here and there. The great thing about using this is you can make these dots as big or as small as you want, and then what I like to do is go over them with glossy accents after, so they just look like enamel dots. Okay, and then they look a little bit cloudy right now, but like once they dry they'll be clear and they'll just look like mini little enamel dots. So that's our card for today, guys. Hit that thumbs up button if you like this video. Leave a comment and let me know what you guys think. And subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. New videos come out every week, and some weeks I'll do multiple videos when I have the time. There will be a lot more Halloween videos coming out this month, so stay tuned. And I'll see you guys next time. Thanks. Bye.